Hi everyone, Stepan here. Okay, I have the white pieces finally. I'm gonna play c4 and let's see what happens. I really wanted to get a game in the English again. Finally have one. I think everything should be okay with the video. And let's hope my opponent makes a move, because I don't want to have black in the next game. I want to play the English. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I hope you guys liked the video on the Botvinnik. Yes, he made a move. Okay, I'm going knight c3. And I could have played g3 straight away, but I'm going to keep things flexible. And on e6, I will probably play the Mykonos. Okay, he plays c6. What do I transpose into? I don't know this move order, knight f6 and then c6. See, this is the part I was telling you about where I'm not too familiar with the openings. So if I go e4 now and he goes d5, can I then go e5, e4, d5, e5, knight d7. I could take on d5 and then knight e5 take on c6, queen d1. e4 seems to be the principled move, so I'm gonna go e4. I'm not expecting d5 because we're going to transpose to the Panov Caro-Kann. Yeah, so we are transposing to the Panov. So I could go for an isolated pawn structure in the Panov where after d4 it's just the main line. So e takes, c takes d4. But I wonder about e5. Sorry about my computer fans, still the same issue. Or I could go into a position where I take twice and go d4, a perfect isolani pawn structure. But e5 seems interesting. e5, he does have knight g4 or bishop g4, although I don't think that should be a problem. Yeah, I'm just gonna take twice and go for the IQP structure. This is going to be the Panov Caro-Kann now, basically, after I play d4. Pretty normal stuff so far, where I have pressure down this diagonal, and he should try to develop his bishop before playing e6, but then he may run into trouble along the diagonal, and I can use the e5 square. Of course, I'm not afraid of knight takes c3. So just an IQP pawn structure for now. Okay, knight f3 seems normal. Bishop g4. So on bishop e2, takes on f3 doesn't really work. On bishop b5, well, that could work. Bishop b5, bishop f3, queen f3 seems okay. I may also consider bishop c4. Not really a big fan of bishop c4 because of e6. On bishop b5, if he goes a6, bishop b5, a6, can I go knight e5? Bishop takes queen, knight takes c6, b takes c6, wins the queen back. But knight takes c6, queen to b6, I would have a discovery knight takes a7 check, but then king d8, and he's winning, so I cannot do that. So bishop b5, a6, I don't have knight e5. Although bishop b5, a6, knight e5, bishop d1, knight c6, queen b6, knight a7 check, king d8, knight takes d5, attacks the queen, queen takes d4, and then yeah, okay, I don't think that works. I'm just gonna go bishop e2. I couldn't make it work. I cannot give up my queen, and if I cannot go knight e5 straight away, then I don't want to go bishop b5. Okay, should I castle or try to exploit the pin somehow? His next move is going to be bishop d6. Okay, let's gain one tempo on the bishop first. I don't think this can be bad. Get the bishop to h5. Okay, he takes. Wow. I'm very surprised to see that. Okay. Now I could just return the favor and take on d5, get rid of all of my issues on queen d5 castles. Or can I give up the c3 pawn for development? Maybe. I cannot go bishop d2 because knight takes d4. I could go queen d3, but I don't like queen d3. And I really want to keep my bishop there, if I can. So I'm controlling f4. If he goes queen d6, I castle. He goes knight f4, I take. I could then take on c6 and pretend that I'm better. So either queen d3 castles or bishop takes d5. I like queen d3. If castles, knight c3, bc3, bishop c3, rook b1. Queen b6 maybe? Yeah, that's good enough. So either queen d3 or taking. I think I'm gonna go queen d3. I don't want to give up my bishop pair. Because now when he, if he takes on c3, I'm defending the pawn again. An isolated queen's pawn position with the bishop pair is usually very promising, but I cannot lose time. I'm already 3 minutes down. And the thing is, after I castle, he's gonna have to repair my pawn structure. Because on queen d6 castles, knight f4, bishop f4, queen f4, I have bishop c6 check, bc6, and then queen to c4, where if he plays queen d6, defending both the pawn and the bishop, I think I have knight b5 winning, or even knight e4 winning. Yeah, not knight b5, Jesus, there's a pawn on c6, knight e4. So I don't think queen d6, knight f4 is an option for him. And there are pros and cons to the isolated pawn, of course. I'm controlling c5 and e5, but in the endgame the pawn could be weak. With my bishop on f3 I'm not worried though. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to play d5. And if he gives me hanging pawns with knight c3, again I'm not worried. The important thing is that I'm controlling b4 after any exchange, so it's not possible for him to take and go knight b4. Also, I may have some interesting bishop e4 ideas, putting pressure on h7. Yeah, I think he should have played bishop d6, controlling f4. I think bishop b4 was a mistake. If I were him, I would put my bishop back on d6 now, just accept the fact that we both have isolated pawns. If I play knight takes d5. Oh, actually, my pawn is on h3, so he cannot do that. Bishop d6, knight d5, ed, bishop d, and he doesn't have bishop h2 because it's not check. And even if it was check, my pawn is on h3, so he doesn't have to get the pawn back. I'm catching up on the clock. That's good. And I really love my position. Bishop pair, very active pieces. I don't think I could have asked for more. I think white has to be better here. My bishop is just a monster, unopposed on the light squares. Especially if he ever exchanges on c3, that's just not good at all. And then if you could imagine a position like knight c3, bc3, bishop a5, then bishop a3 just cuts through to his king, and my bishop pair would be, I think, overwhelming. Also on bishop a5 I would have queen b5, attacking b7, c6 and a5 at the same time. So yeah, I like white. Castles. Okay, I'm just gonna castle back. No point delaying this. Now I'm threatening knight d5, although whether that's good or not, I don't know. Okay, so he just retreats, attacking my d-pawn. I don't want to go queen b5, queen c4 now, or queen b5. Although I could after I take. So bishop c6, bc6, queen c4. He has queen d6 defending, and I no longer have the e4 square. So I'm gonna have to defend this pawn. So I'll just go rook f d1, or rook d1, sorry. No reason to risk anything here. This is the natural move, and also I have bishop g5 or bishop f4 coming up. He lifted the blockade on my isolated pawn by himself without being provoked. That's not a good idea. Improving my bishop and preparing me for d5, or giving me the option for d5. So I can just get rid of my isolated pawn in this position and then say that I have the bishop pair in a wide open position. So I think knight f6 was not good. He's not playing the IQP position properly. You need to set up a blockade against the isolated pawn and then play against it. Now my bishop on f3 is just unopposed and wide open. What does that do? He wants to go rook d8. Okay. If I go d5 straight away, he's gonna go rook d8. I don't have bishop g5, unfortunately, because of the queen. I don't have a3 because it doesn't come with a threat. So I will have to develop my bishop. I don't see any other way to play this. I'm gonna play bishop e3, I think. Or bishop f4. But bishop e3 defends the pawn. So that seems more natural to me. Again, if knight d5, I can just take. I know that my bishop isn't too active on e3, but what could I do? I have to connect my rooks, and he is going to play rook d8, so I may as well anticipate that and defend. And after rook d8, I'm gonna have to be worried about e5, so I will consider a move like queen c4. Okay, do I have time for a3? a3, bishop c3, bc3, e5, d5. Knight d5, bishop d5 works, and he doesn't have e4 because of bishop e4. So a3 works. If he goes bishop c5, I can throw in b4, and then if knight b4, a b4 seems to work, so I'm going to play a3. I'm expecting him to take on c3, improving my pawn structure. Because if he doesn't, I'm just going to play b4. And I'm threatening b4, b5 actually, winning the pawn on b7. Unless he misplaces the queen and runs into d5. Yeah, okay, I like my position. Equal on the clock, very good. I think I can go b4, knight b4, a b4, bishop b4, I can move the knight to e4, so that works. If he plays bishop b4, okay. Now, if I go b5, where does the knight go? If I go knight b5, where does the queen go? Huh. As long as I have d5 against e5, I'm good. So I could consider rook c1 or knight b5. Rook c1, e5, d5 seems to work. Okay, let's just improve my last piece. Lining up the rook with the queen cannot be bad. I'm not afraid of e5 because I have d5. Now I have a major threat in this position, knight b5, followed by bishop c6 and knight a7. I think my pieces are optimal. My queen is slightly misplaced, lined up with his rook, but that shouldn't be a big deal. And importantly, he does not have knight e5, because I can play bishop e5, bishop d4. Sorry, he doesn't have knight d4 because of bishop d4, and on e5 I have knight b5. Or even bishop e5. Okay. I mean, queen e2 seems normal. I don't see any other move. And on knight c4, I will have rook b5, knight b5 winning. So I'm expecting him to take on f3. I didn't see knight e5, or I didn't calculate it, but I'm not too worried about this. I gave up my bishop here, and that was a mistake. So rook ac1 was maybe too ambitious. Now I feel like I have to go d5 to get rid of the pawn. d5 pawn takes, bishop a7, d5 ed, bishop a7, rook a8, knight d5, threatening knight takes f6 if rook takes a7. So d5, e takes, bishop a7, and d5 knight takes, e takes, bishop a7. If rook a8, I have rook d5. That should be about equal, but if I get the pawn majority on the queen side, that's going to be good. What else do I have if I don't go d5 now? d5, e takes, bishop a7 seems good. Okay, I'm gonna go d5. I think this is the principled move. Just getting rid of my isolated pawn and threatening to take on e6 and on a7. I think this is a very important tempo because he's going to be left with the IQP, but it's going to be on d4. Okay, let's take on a7, and what I want to do is set up a blockade on d4. Okay, the pawn is still on d5, but I'm threatening bishop b6. And again, on rook a8, I have knight d5. I've turned things around. He has the IQP now. But I think with my rooks better placed on cd, this should be advantageous for me. And of course I have a 2-1 on the queen side, which is a big asset in the endgame. And I'm ahead on the clock. This has never happened before. I'm only slightly disappointed that we didn't really get the English, because I transposed to the Caro-Kann. But this is what I'm going to be doing in my repertoire, so I want to practice my repertoire. Okay, now I thought this fails to knight d5. It does fail to knight d5. Knight takes d5. Knight takes d5, rook takes d5, tempo on the queen. Where he could go queen a4. But then I would have rook a5. Okay, I'm just gonna take. And on bishop a7, on rook a7 I have okay, never mind. So now queen a4 fails to rook a5. I'm pretty sure, and I just want a clean pawn. Okay, this is going well. Okay, queen f3, queen e6, threatening if the bishop moves, threatening rook a3, queen a3, queen takes d5. I don't really want to go rook a5 because that traps my bishop. But you know what? I can play bishop c5. If bishop c5, rook a3, queen a3, queen d5, I have bishop e7. Yeah, okay. Bishop c5 works. Of course, if he plays bishop takes c5, then I play rook d takes c5 and my rook is defended. And if he plays rook a3, I can just take. And if he doesn't do anything, my pawn is now defended and I can go rook d3. Or rook cd1. So rook a3, queen d5, bishop e7. If queen d1 check, I have king h2. Sorry, there is no queen d1 check because I have a rook on c1, but still. So pawn up with a potential passer on the queen side, 2-1 pawn majority. Should be enough to win. This will be an outside passed pawn. Now again, I can mess this up, of course, but you know, maybe I won't. Okay, so now rook cd1, bishop c5, bc5. If rook c5, sorry, yeah, that seems okay. I think I have to play rook cd1 and I don't want to waste too much time. He can isolate my pawn, of course. There's nothing I can do about that, but at least his back rank will be weak after the exchange of bishops. But I think he has to do it. Oh, he declines. Nice. He wants to go bishop to b2. So let's stop that from happening. If I go bishop d4, he cannot trade. He definitely cannot trade. And if he moves back, I'm just gonna go bishop b2. Okay, I'm going bishop d4. Bishop d4, there are no tricks with queen takes rook, I think. If rook c2, I take on f6. Should be okay. This is a prophylactic move which I think I had to play because I don't want to allow bishop b2. Then my bishop has done its job, taking the pawn on a7. I did not see that. I did not see that. Man, why did I miss that? So, bishop f6, rook f3, rook d8 check, queen e8 only move, rook takes e8, rook takes e8, g takes f3, equal. I have to play bishop f6, there are no other moves. I think he has to play rook f3, yeah. I think I have to take. There's nothing better, I feel. Yeah. At least I can get an active rook. That's one thing. It's of course equal. I messed up and gave the pawn away, but if I can push my pawn all the way, then I have greater chances in the endgame because at least I'm first to move. So I'm not gonna offer a draw or anything, I'll just keep playing. This was definitely correct. So let's put pressure on the pawn again. Force him to play rook b8. Okay. That works too. I cannot go rook c5 because the endgame is maybe a draw, but probably even losing. Yeah, it's definitely losing. So let's decline the rook trade and get behind the pawn, keeping things active. b5 was a good move. If he had at any point played rook b8, he would have been worse. Do I play f4 here? f4, he has to play either rook d5, f5, or h5. I'm gonna go f4 because I have to prevent king f4, but if he goes king f5 at some point, am I worried about that? I don't think so. f4, rook d5, king g2, king f5, king g3 seems safe enough. Okay, I'm going f4. I have to prevent his king from coming in. And he also will have to watch out for his h7 pawn. Yeah, I messed up that position. I was a pawn up and I missed the tactics. I still think I'm slightly better here because b5 is a weakness that fixes his rook. Now the question is, can I play rook h7? Rook h8, rook h8, rook d4, rook h7, rook b4, and then rook h5, and the king has to go to e4, I think. Or I could just pick up all the pawns, though that doesn't seem to be enough to win. So maybe just king g3 first. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go king g3. I don't want to allow king f4 if I don't have to. And I can also try rook b7 at some point. I don't want to give him a passer on b5, but it's not easy to attack b4. Especially with his king on the 5th rank. I don't know. I feel like I'm better. It's probably a draw. But he has two weaknesses. And even though the position is symmetrical, my weaknesses aren't easy to get to. He cannot attack. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. So f3, king d3. He is threatening rook d3 actually. So f3, king d3, rook b7, king c3, rook f7, king b4, rook f6, king c3. Oh, what's that endgame like? I mean, I have to play f3, or I have to play... Wait, do I have to play f3? Rook d3, king g4, f5, king g5. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. I can just do this. On rook d3, I have king g4, and I pick up the b pawn. And on king d3, I'm a tempo up to the variation I just showed you. So rook d3, okay, king g4, f5, king g5, rook h3, rook b5. Okay. Do I go to h4 or h6? That's the question. I think I'm just gonna go h4. preventing a checkmate. Now he has to go ahead and defend the pawn again with rook d5 check, where I go king h6 and start picking up all of the pawns. I'm not sure about this endgame. I mean, it's probably a draw, but still, I'll try to win. I'll try to win because my pawn is 4 squares away from queening and my king is closer. That's a sensible move. But what does he do now? Rook d2 fails to rook b5 check. Okay, I can always just wait. Is the endgame winning? Rook d8, rook d8, king d8, the endgame is winning. Okay, the pawn endgame is definitely winning. No, maybe it's not. Did I miss it by a tempo? No, I didn't, it's winning. Okay. Whew. Okay. Oof, this was a tough game. Okay. Wait, it's the b pawn. But yeah, he's 2 squares away from queening. I'm winning easily. I just have to be precise. Yeah, okay. That's it. Now he resigns. His king is too far away. Okay. Oof, this was tough. I'm ashamed that I failed to convert my passed pawn. Oof, blunder, Jesus. I had 1 blunder, he had 3 blunders, 2 blunders. Okay, let's see the opening first. This is what I'm most interested in. So e4 transposing to the Panov, e5, CD. Okay, e5 is a move. Okay, e5 here, but I just transposed to the Caro-Kann. d4, knight f3, bishop g4. Bishop e, queen b3 is the queen b3 just transposes to the main line. My god, why am I so weak? This transposes to the normal main line after queen b3. Bishop f3. I couldn't recognize this position and I've been playing it with black for a million years. I've played this with black a million times and I didn't recognize that it was this position. Okay. Castles. Eventually. Okay, this is good for black. The engine says equal. Okay, that's weird. Queen d3. Now the only point of interest is d5 when I played it. b4 correct. Yeah, rook c1. Wait, I could have taken this? What? Takes. I'm threatening 2 pieces. And if takes, knight takes is on the queen. Ah, no! I didn't see this. Queen e2 equal. d5 is correct, yeah. And in this position I am better. And I calculated everything correctly. Bishop c5 correct. Wait, I should have played rook c3? That also makes sense. I thought he couldn't take on c5, or I thought he should have taken on c5. Rook d6. Oh, why would I miss rook d6? Yeah, because I thought bishop d4 was good, and I just didn't see this. And the endgame, of course, was a dead draw. He played correctly. I don't believe I played some... I managed to outplay somebody from this position. Yeah, I don't think he should have given up the pawns. I wonder at which point he's going to be losing. This is still a draw. Okay. Wait, what? How is rook d4? Ah, because he takes the f pawn. He should have done this. But what if I block? Then he takes the b pawn. Yeah, okay. King g4, losing. No! No, I had rook d7, same idea. The rook has no squares. I'm forcing a win, but I'm a tempo up. I did not see that. Yeah, now it's winning. Ah, I missed one win. I missed one win and I almost blundered one away. But I'm still happy I finally won a game. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. Hope you liked the game. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye-bye.